The last time I remember being this genuinely frustrated, watching the world being gaslit into a lie, is probably, well, starting from 2016 to right now. Specifically around Donald Trump and the smear campaign that has been directed towards that man. The moment that I woke up, and it didn't take long, right? I was bought into the propaganda. I was bought into, well, maybe this is an evil guy. He's racist. He's this, he's that. Though I had no problem with them beforehand. My family and I, all black people, used to tune into The Apprentice every single episode as a family. But maybe there was something to this. This is still a time I was sort of deluded about mainstream media and what they were actually dishing out to the masses. I was skeptical, but I didn't have the sort of disdain I should have had for them at that time that I now do, right? So 2016 to right now, year of our Lord 2025, there has been nothing but lies, defamatory, dare I say, blood libel. The only thing that can compare is what I'm seeing right now with the Israelis or the Jewish people. Because if we're really to get down to it, is it actually about the Israelis? What about the non-Jews that are classified as Israeli? Is it really about? No, it's about the Jews. I have never witnessed this in my lifetime. And there's some who's still alive today who remember, whose parents came out of it, brothers and sisters, they lost entire families. They remember. This is mind-blowing to me. How a terror organization that cries out from the rooftops, death to America, us, you and me, can seep into your emotions as an American. I'm speaking directly to Americans, right? Can seep into your emotions and have you sympathizing with them and believing their side of a story. That's when I know that propaganda, information, is the most powerful thing in the universe. The word, right? As it says in the beginning, there was the word, and the word was a God. The word is the most powerful thing, because how can you get somebody to side with their own potential killer? How? They say they want to wipe you off the face of the earth, and then you think to yourself, but maybe they're the victims. And this has always been the hardest part about cutting through, especially to those who are far down that conspiratorial rabbit hole. And I'm not saying that's without cause. We've been lied to a multitude of times by our own governments, by our own media, etc., of course. But those who are so far gone, they will say that, well, September 11th was an inside job. But beyond that, they'll say, well, actually, it was the Jews who did it. So who gets absolved? I'm not going to sit here and pretend I know all the information, because I don't. As much as I've researched and looked into it, I don't. I don't have more information than a president. I don't have more information than, a sitting member of Congress or whatever else it may be. And I can't pretend to. But what I do know is this. There were jihadists, Islamists, who participated in that event and were more than happy to do what was necessary to take thousands of American lives, take as many as they possibly could. They were willing and able. And so we fast forward to October 7th. And again, because we have a mixture of the lie, the conspiracy, and a diluting of the truth, and what it turns into is, okay, well, if October 7th did happen, it was still their fault. Because, you got to admit it one side. It's like this crowd who says, well, the little mustache man was right, but then they also have to defend their denial of the Holocaust. And you can't have both. So they're kind of, they're fighting themselves. They're wrestling themselves when it comes to that specifically. Now, I do want to bring up a video, and it alludes to something that I've covered can I say extensively, really? I mean, I've done maybe 2 or 3 videos specifically about this, but the lie that there is starvation on behalf of, or due to the Israeli people, due to the Israeli government, the IDF, etc., is starving the so-called quote unquote Palestinians. Now, again, the real story, as per usual, is relatively simple. Aid is being sent by the people who have been attacked, i.e. Israel, to the people who would rather see them dead, i.e. quote unquote Palestinians, and that aid is being intercepted, taken, or people are having their lives taken if they essentially, take that aid by Hamas. If you want to find a North Star for anything that is going on right now in Gaza, look at Hamas and their supporters and their enablers. There's nobody else to look at. We want to get into every other conversation, but what about the babies, all the children that are dying? Hamas. When your house has been broken into, your wife's life is taken, your children are kidnapped, and you go out there, not just for vengeance, but you're going out there to get your kids back. Whatever you have to do to get your kids back is going to be justified. It's going to be justified. That's why y'all love the Liam Neeson movies and stuff like that, right? Whoever steps in the way of that, whoever's looking to defend those actions is now about to be a target. And it's unfortunate because that's what war is. But I've never seen a war where somebody is held, the ones who are perpetrated are held to this moral ground of, well, you can't do anything and the other person's a victim. I have to say this and then we'll get into this video. I promise we will. And I'll let Homegirl cook. Do you know how infantilizing it is to say that these people are so underdeveloped that they can't even do for themselves? They can't even think for themselves. They are so underdeveloped, these desert dwelling people, that they can't help it. They can't help but grape. They can't help but pillage and destroy. They can't help it. They're the victims. And I know they came in and they took your women and children. I know they came in and took the lives of your brothers. And I know they did that, but they can't help it. They're Mongols. They're slow in the head. That's what the white liberal does when it comes to black people and people of color. They can't help it. Do you know what you're saying? You're saying that you're a true white supremacist. You believe that the white man is the only one who is capable of any sort of rational or selective action. They're the only ones who can choose what they're doing and what they're not doing. And they're so mighty and powerful that you can't even scratch the surface of what they got going on, while simultaneously saying that they're dumb and Neanderthalic and you created everything. But anyway, story for another time. Let's go ahead and get into this video here. Let's get up to date with this situation with feet on the ground.
From Gaza, where I am surrounded by 600 trucks worth of aid that from Gaza, where I am surrounded by 600 trucks worth of aid that has been sitting in the sun, some of it for over a month. And yet it's Israel's fault that has happened. Now, the truth of the matter is this is sitting here because the United Nations have made it a point to leave it here. And only now are they trying to scramble with publicity by letting you believe that there's this famine that's gone so far out of hand because you continuously believe that everything falls on Israel. Now, Israel didn't start this war. Israel did not go into civilian homes, rape, murder, burn civilians. And yet it's still Israel's fault that Gazans are starving when Israel has brought aid in and it's currently still waiting for the United Nations to bring it in to Gazans' hands. So again, I ask you, why is it that you are still sitting there, keffiyeh wearing Karen? Why are you still chanting Piers Morgan?
Keffiyeh wearing Karen is a bar. I'm still in that one.
That it's currently Israel's fault still to this day. I don't see you standing here witnessing the actual truth of what's going on, but yet you will sit there and continuously peddle a lie that has put more lives at danger than you even understand. Their famine, of which you have started, you have produced, you have photographed, was very clearly choreographed, orchestrated to lie to the world. But here we are. Why is the aid here? Answer me.
I can't tell you why the aid is there, but I can tell you this. Every single one of these organizations who claims to stand on the behalf of human rights, including the UN, which is one of the largest perpetrators of what's going on, y'all have blood on your hands. Blood on your hands. In the same way, all of these nations who have opened their gates, their doors, their homes to their own enemies. 25,000 Afghanistani soldiers shipped into the United Kingdom overnight. Y'all got blood on y'all hands. Not you, the people. Unfortunately, you become the actual victims to a weak and, dare I say, corrupted government. I would really love to think it's just pure incompetence. But I grew up in a place known as California. And I got to see what California turned into in the hands of a man named Gavin Newsom's scam. And what I recognize, in hindsight at least, is that this is a psychopath disguised as a public servant. I would take incompetence over that any day. I take incompetence over a competent liar and crook. The UN, I would hope, is filled with incompetent, woke fools. But unfortunately, when I start to look at the zeitgeist globally, what most people have bought into, the pervading ideas, I can't help but think that there is a corrupt element to all of this. And I know evil is real. So these must be individuals who have simply bought into evil. And yes, it does matter to continue to talk about this every single day until it no longer is. In the same way, when somebody touches grass in America, we will talk about it incessantly. I recognize from the beginning that this was our fight. Not the beginning, but as far as, let's just say the strike on the Iranian facilities, or right before that, when all these so-called America First scammers were crying out, "We're not dying for Israel. We're not dying." Nobody asked you. Literally, nobody asked you. We know you wouldn't, because you're too busy trying to live for Qatar and Iran, or at least those who have hijacked Iran. I know it. I get it. You're not going to die for them because you already got somebody else that you're living for. I get that. But even that early on, I understood, oh, okay, finally, DJT is understanding that this is about us, because those people put a fatwa on his head. They tried to execute him twice. 2 times that they almost succeeded, mind you. This was between his right before his inauguration, when he was elected president, and January 20th, 2025. 2 attempts on his life that came directly from Iran. Oh, he got to see it firsthand. He believes it. But so many here, again, we like to live in our little sugar-coated dream. La, 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 la. Has nothing to do with us. And I'm not even getting into the spiritual context of what's going on. Some people are going to have the big guy upstairs to talk to about what they stood for and continue to perpetuate. That's going to be a whole different, that's the most important one right there. But here, as we dwell on this earth and we have a responsibility to ourselves and one another, keep feeding the lie, keep telling the lie, keep spreading the lie, and see where that gets you. That's all I say. But as far as I'm concerned, nah. If the propaganda machine is going to be up 24/7 doing this, the least I can do is to, be as active as I possibly can be. So I will continue to show up so long as I got breath in my lungs. Appreciate you guys for tuning in. Now, if you'd like to stay around, make sure to click that little subscribe button down there, or you can show some love by going to the description below and clicking on the button titled Buy Me a Coffee. Leave a little something there, or click on the Cash App. Leave a little something here. Till the next time, peace. Aquarius. Where?
I've been up for hours, I've been up for days, you staring at the ceiling, I've been counting strays, you I've been in my feelings, I've been out of mind, I've been getting visions of the other kind. I've been up for weeks, I'm in the count of blessings over count of sheep. I can never be the type to limit when it comes to me. I used to be the pleaser for the people, I ain't